Stephanie Leung, and I am currently the COO at Tiney. We're a marketplace platform for working parents and childminders, and we were founded about 18 months ago by our serial CEO. We now have about 100 tiny home nurseries across London, and we're looking to go national. So what we basically do is help train men and women who are interested in becoming childminders to set up their own home, get licensed. We are their regulator, and we help them bring in lots of young children and happy families into their homes. You know, the reason why I joined Tiney is because most of our customers, so we talk about our customers as childminders and parents, but in fact, the real customer is the child. And I don't know if you saw this, but the Duchess of Cambridge recently released a report that she spent 9 years studying on, is that most adults who have low self-esteem, depression, like alcoholic tendencies or become drug addicts, it's because the first 5 years of their early years education was not well formed, or they had very poor support. And it's just so most of your brain is already wired by the time you're 5. And so one of the reasons why I joined this tech company is because, yes, it's a tech company, it moves fast, it pivots, it's doing some really exciting stuff, but the children that are ultimately our customer is the core of, you know, really changing what we can do in society. And over the last 10 years, childminders have reduced by, I think, 40%. Due to a lot of paperwork and more kind of, I don't want to say bureaucracy, but a lot more layers of checks. And it's become a sort of an unattractive occupation. So what we've done is essentially come in and say, let us simplify all that through us, use technology as a platform. And really what we want to do is repopulate the country with people who really care about children and who get the right support and qualifications and things like that. So, you know, I'm a feminist, but I also believe in technology, and I thought this is a really good way to marry all the things that I care about into one place. Yeah, so not many people know this. I actually grew up sitting inside a truck. So my father was a truck driver, and he later went on to start a trucking company. But basically, when I was a child, I sat in the passenger side, staring out of a window, with my mother next to me and my father, and we'd be on the road for about like 18 hours a day. So to this day, I really like sitting. I don't like driving. And my husband's very happy about that because he can drive anywhere he wants, and I'm very happily enjoying the sceneries. So it's a bit of a long journey. I was previously at Uber as their regional director, and I was covering about 19 countries, so including Eastern Europe, Nordics, Benelux, and the UK. And what I was in charge of was a lot of our daily operations and customer support and things like this. And I'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but wasn't brave enough to do it in my younger age. And this very unique opportunity came along, and I said, okay, you know, I think I've got enough experience under my belt now. I'd like to know what it's like to go and build something from scratch. So I kind of took the plunge, met with the founders and the partners, the VC partners, and it was just great chemistry fit, and really love what they're doing. It's got a great social mission. And what I love about Tiney is, you know, even during the pandemic, a lot of women have been significantly impacted due to redundancies and the recession. And it's a real empowerment platform because it helps a lot of women become self-entrepreneurs. They can build businesses from their home. And so a lot of things kind of came together, and I said, if you said you wanted to be an entrepreneur, now's the time. As a COO, there is no typical day. There's a couple of things. One is, I guess for my experience so far, it's basically keeping an eye on the strategy and your people at the same time. So I've got 3 things I need to look after. One is how we execute on our strategy. The other is our financials. So our daily operating financials. Are we, going over budget? Are we burning more cash than we need to? And then making sure that the processes and the people that you're building into it are going to make it work. So because the technology side is taken care of, right? I work very closely with my CTO. And so a lot of what I do is making sure is every team, very clear on what their North Star is, what KPIs are going to drive to our success. make sure the team structures are right, make sure our people are happy. So I work with Beth, our HR partner, a lot to make sure people are, not burning out. They're in good mental state. We have good check-ins and celebrate people's successes and things like this. And then really the last thing, which probably sounds pretty obvious, but as part of the C-suite, modeling good behavior to build good culture. I think some companies, you can build it on let the culture unfold. But actually what I've realized over time is culture becomes I think you may have heard this, culture will eat strategy for breakfast. And I very much believe that if you're not careful, it can bring in all sorts of sort of complexities that make business hard to run. So I spend a lot of time just checking in with my directs and making sure our business is still pointing in the right direction from a KPIs perspective. So you need to love operations. I think sometimes people get mixed up what a CEO and a COO does. A CEO is more public facing, willing to talk to lots of investors a day, talk to press at short notice, and really try to get the vision and the mission out there. The COO is basically that person's partner, to make sure everything works on the inside, willing to get into the weeds, but understands the sort of strategy. And then also kind of the glue between all the C-suite, because product can have great ideas, tech can have great ideas, investors may want a lot of other things, but if the operations can't execute on it, then it doesn't work. So it's someone who really loves operations, essentially. Join as many tech circles as you can get your hands on, and then just put yourself out there. Like, try and reach out to startups. So obviously you can't get hold of a CEO over a major public company, they'll be very busy. But try and get hold of, COOs and ask for a coffee, ask them what their life is like, ask them what the difference is between the COO and a CEO role. Because sometimes I think people want to be a COO, but don't realize actually it's the CEO role they want. And you definitely need to be someone who likes getting things done and be willing to make mistakes, make decisions, move with it, and then pivot as soon as you realize it's not working. So someone who's kind of comfortable managing all the teams underneath them to make that happen.